Could a bat give a whale a high five? Well, typically a high five does involve having hands, but do bats and whales have them? Let's find out on this episode of Creature Features. This is Dr. Karen Roberts, and she can answer our kind of weird question. Karen, do bats have hands?
Sort of. Bats do have hands, but they've evolved to become wings. So the name for all bats is Chiroptera, which literally means hand wing. So a bat wing is formed by the same bones that we have in our hands and arms. You can see the arm, the fingers, and the thumb. The difference is that the forearm and fingers have become much more elongated over time compared to ours. And the wing structure is then completed by this stretchy skin membrane called the patagium that extends from the shoulder to the tips of the long fingers and down to the ankle and tail.
So bats flying is a little bit like us flapping our hands like this.
Yes, it is.
I can flap my hands like that, but I don't get to fly, which is extremely disappointing. So how come bats get to fly, but I don't?
Bats have evolved powered flight over millions of years of adaptive evolution. The trade-off for bats is that they've mostly lost the ability to walk, run, climb, and swim.
Well, I do like to do all those things, so I guess that's a fair trade-off. What about the mammals that can swim?
I assume you're talking about whales.
I am. Now, this is a studio, so it is a bit hard to get a whale in here, but we can fit one out here. Karen, what are we looking at?
So this is the skeleton of a blue whale. Now this is a pygmy blue whale, so it's not even as big as they get.
Awesome.
Do you notice anything about it?
The structure up here looks a lot like the bat, except instead of being really elongated, it's like shorter and more condensed.
That's right. Whales transitioned from living on land to living in water, and they didn't need arms and legs anymore. So their bones became shorter and the forelimb became more paddle-like, and that became their flipper. And as a result, they've lost things like their thumb as well. And they don't have hind limbs. They just have these little tiny little pelvic bones that no one sees anymore.
So this is all the same structure, but why is it found across so many animals?
So the same bone structure is found in all animals that we call tetrapods.
Tetrapods meaning like 4 legs?
That's right. 4 limbs, which is found in animals like all of our amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals.
Okay, so we've got 4 arms, 2 arms, 2 legs.
Yeah.
And it all sort of started in one place, or like with one animal.
It did. It was a kind of bony fish.
Was that the one that like walked out of the ocean?
It came from water onto land, and most tetrapods live on land, but some have gone back into the water, like this whale.
So these animals have adapted for different environments. Is that what we call divergent evolution?
Yeah. So divergent evolution is when animals have changed over time to become more different from each other.
But they're still using the same structure.
Yeah.
And it's not like a conscious decision, right? It's not like the whale decided to turn its arms into paddles to go swimming. This happened over time.
Yeah, it happened over many, many, many generations, obviously 400 million years.
Yeah. So what's causing these changes over time?
Yeah, so the big drivers of divergent evolution are things such as function, such as how an animal moves and eats, and also ecological space, so where an animal lives.
So if animals like bats eat flying insects, it's better to evolve to be able to fly?
That's right. The evolutionary success of tetrapods is in part due to the adaptable nature of their forelimbs and their hind limbs. So over time, they've been able to modify and change to suit the needs of a variety of different species.
Including us humans.
That's right.
Whales, bats, us. Across all sorts of environments with all sorts of different needs, these animals have adapted to run, to walk, to climb, to hold. The amazing way that tetrapod bodies have adapted these forelimb structures is pretty incredible. And so to answer our kind of weird question, could a bat high-five a whale? Well, I guess so, but it does depend on how well that bat could swim. Did you enjoy this episode? If you did, follow the link and discover all the other ways you are connected to our wondrous planet.